single day. You go to a bunch of exhibits, you are assigned to different animals, and you have to make sure that you are going from one to the next very often. You can't ever know everything in the zoology programs and in zoos because typically you can't know everything about every animal. So you have to be able to speak with other people and talk to others about maybe some problems that come up in your life or in your career that don't make sense to you. So I talked to Dr. Carlos Sanchez, and he said that there were a lot of things he did not know, and he was more familiar with reptiles, but he wasn't familiar with a lot of animals like gorillas, koalas, giraffes. It wasn't things that he was very familiar with, so he would have to make calls every single day about, I've never seen this before. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to fix this? And that's some things that you're going to have to face being in this job. Anesthesia is always used, unfortunately, even to do blood work, to do any tests, because these animals are wild, and you can't just take their blood without them fighting back. They're a little bit different. They're not like household animals who are a little bit more kind about things, and they're more open to people, but if I were to go into a tiger exhibit and try to take blood, I don't think that'd go down so well. And then workers must be in good physical shape. You're moving all the time. You can't be sitting around very often. I don't like sitting around anyway, so it works out perfectly. And you have to keep in close contact with other vets. You have to have good relationships. You have to network. You have to be open to it. Most of the zoo vets know each other because there aren't many zoos, so they're pretty familiar, and they have conventions every year, so they are pretty familiar with one another. Some of the hardships, though, are if you are an animal lover, it's kind of hard to do things like this because sometimes you can't do anything. By talking to Carlos Sanchez, he talked to me about how there was a gorilla who had leukemia, and he wasn't able to fix it because they don't have the proper technology to help with animals, but they know how to help with people. Obviously, monkeys are pretty close to us, but they're not exactly the same. So he wasn't able to cure it, and he had to go through the hardship of letting it pass. And it was kind of hard for him for a while to get through that. There's a lot of research that goes into this. You have to spend a lot of time looking at the animal, finding out its anatomy, and then going into surgery. And then you have to be a quick thinker. Sometimes there are situations where maybe an animal got cut and it's bleeding, and you have to quickly think about what you're going to do next, get set up, get into what surgery you're going to need to do. You have to be quick. You can't just sit around and think about it forever. Sometimes you don't have that option. And then there's a lot of pressure of taking care of these animals because if you think about it, in a zoo, they are very expensive animals. They are very exotic, and sometimes they're very rare, and you can't just sit around and hope for the best. It's a lot of pressure to be able to take care of these animals and be on top of it every single day. And then I wanted to thank the people that were interviewed. A lot of my research did come from my interviews. I did get a few online articles, and that helped a lot, but these people helped the most. Erin Schultz, she went to the University of North Texas and really helped me with the programs. She graduated in 1994, and she taught me about the program, and she felt that she had really, really good experience, really good schooling there, so it made me more comfortable with the idea. Emily Mayer is a vet technician at Maisie's Mission. She works with Dr. Schultz. She does everything to make the surgeries easier, so that's her job, and it was kind of interesting to hear about that's where I would start and how things would go for me. And then Eric Botchman, he is a head veterinarian at a zoo, and he taught me a lot about how the program works and how he has a lot of responsibilities. Really, he doesn't do a lot of the hands-on things. He doesn't do a lot of the surgeries, but he leads everything for the most part because there are multiple veterinarians at the zoo. And then Dr. Carlos Sanchez is one of the veterinarians. He is not the head veterinarian. So he makes runs every single day, has done millions of surgeries. He started in Mexico, and then he moved here, and, well, not here, but to the Smithsonian Zoo. And he had a connection, a network there, and that's how he started. And he talked about all the possibilities, a lot of the hardships, and he was really, really helpful with the hands-on experiences. And that's about it. Any questions?